What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's topic is all about the three South African teams that are maybe heading to PRO14 and leading Super Rugby. Now, this news came out in the last 24 hours or just over, and it has hit the world by storm because there's so many questions to be asked. What's going to happen to Super Rugby? Are the European fans happy with the PRO14 growing and getting bigger? Both are amazing tournaments showing world class of Northern and Southern Hemisphere teams. It is truly special to watch. PRO14 is doing so well. Super Rugby is definitely also doing well. For me, I have grown up watching Super Rugby. I've only really started focusing on the European teams in the last couple of years. But that's because I'm from South Africa, so Southern Hemisphere. I've been brought up watching on the TV screens. Now finally these European tournaments are being shown for us to watch, which is fantastic because it just showcases the talent that the world of rugby has. Now the PRO14 consists of England, Scotland, Wales, I think it's the Celtic group if I'm not mistaken, and they are fantastic teams. Obviously now in this past season we've had the Cheetahs and the Kings join. And I think we've seen quite a transformation in terms of Cheetahs rugby developing and growing. And they've done very well, considering how weak they were in Super Rugby. Kings, unfortunately, haven't been strong, but hopefully they'll improve. Now, for them to take away three of the top teams and move them to PRO14, is it a good idea, yes or no? I'm on a maybe on this. But I don't want to see Super Rugby fade away for South Africa. What I do want, and if it's possible, is them to create two Sharks, Stormers, Lions teams and Bulls. So have a team for PRO14, have a team for Super Rugby. It happened in the Currie Cup, which is our South African league, and Cheetahs had a team playing for Currie Cup, and they obviously had their big boys playing in the PRO14. That I want to see happen. I don't think it's right for us to take away the Super Rugby campaign from us. It's a history, it's been going on, it showcases fantastic Southern Hemisphere rugby. We are obviously also part of the Rugby Championship, which has been going on for years when it was Tri-Nations. So to throw that all away, I think is very sad. But what excites me is South African rugby players developing and getting better in the UK. I think that's strong because we're obviously seeing UK and Ireland, because we're obviously seeing these players go overseas because there's talk of climate and all that jazz. Obviously the time zones being an issue, going to Australia this week and then Argentina the next week and all that jazz. For me, it's been done for many years. Those are just excuses. But I do get it though. Going over Europe is easy. Going to South Africa, what is it? An hour, 2 hours difference depending on when the clocks change. So it's possible and it makes sense for us to join. But don't take it away from Super Rugby. Keep both tournaments going and then maybe just throw in those teams. Or keep the teams in Super Rugby and create new teams within the PRO14, probably PRO17, until the Bulls come on in PRO18. The question we also need to ask ourselves is, won't they create more instances of too much rugby being played? Now, as a fan watching this, you're probably going, what the hell are you talking? We want more rugby. But the question is, if we look at the start of the year, we got straight into Super Rugby and Six Nations. Then PRO14 continues. Then we go into June Internationals. PRO14 European Cup ends. Then we go back to Super Rugby. Currie Cup starts for us. And obviously there's the leagues in Australia and New Zealand. And then obviously the Aviva Premiership and all that jazz. Then we just finish and we go straight into November Internationals. These guys are playing rugby. Cheetahs and the Kings have not stopped since last year. They went straight from Super Rugby into the PRO14. And that's hectic. It's a lot to ask for these players. And those are questions we need to be asking ourselves with injuries that are happening. We look at Wales in the Six Nations, a lot of injuries. Ireland had a few. England, all the teams have a few. South Africa had a few last year too, as well as New Zealand. Australia, they all had. But that's a question. Is too much rugby not being created in order being created, and these players are getting injured and are being forced to retire too soon, and are being forced to leave international rugby because they'd rather go play provincial rugby because there's more money? Just a few questions I have to ask. So for me, I think it's an awesome idea, and it's great to have rugby for as a South African fan, to be able to see it in Europe and Ireland and New Zealand, Australia, Japan, and all that stuff. I think it's exciting. But now there's also talk of America getting involved in Super Rugby, so that tournament's not going to get smaller. It sounds like it's going to get even bigger. And then we're seeing these things. It's just everything's growing. But is the rugby union actually thinking of the players? Is it the right thing to do? So many questions to be asked, so many things to look at. I'm happy with the idea of Sharks, Stormers, Lions and the Bulls joining the Cheetahs and the Kings in the PRO14, because it's such an awesome tournament to watch. So much excitement, so much passion. The crowds are electric. And Super Rugby, I love, just from the history. I love watching New Zealand, South Africa, Australia play against each other, as well as the Jaguars from Argentina, who are showing so much heart and talent. And then not forget Sunwolves, who are new to the tournament and growing. But now there's talk of American teams coming in, so that tournament's going to grow, and it's just going to get longer. So, yeah, so much to look at, with so much good things to see come from it. Because from an advantage point for South Africa, if these teams go overseas, we won't lose as many. So Springbok Rugby will still stay strong. We will keep our players. But then you go back to me and say, Gareth, but transformation's always going to be a problem. Fine, but it is being dealt in ways that are getting better. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel for all of us here. But the question is too much rugby being played? And is that the reason why players are getting injured? Just a few things to go by. And I'll be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this. So share your thoughts. Do you think it's good that South African teams are joining the the PRO14? Do you think they should be removed from Super Rugby? Or should we have two teams created from the province to play in both tournaments? And then I go back to the question, are these tournaments dying? And the fact that they have to create new ways in order to get these teams, get more people to want to watch the rugby. That's all I've got to say. Super Rugby, for me, is strong and going, and it's exciting. But I don't want to see South Africa being taken away from that. And I don't want South Africa to lose opportunities in the PRO14 either. So yes, I want the best of both worlds, but I want it for the right reasons, and I want it to benefit rugby in South Africa as you would want it to benefit rugby in the country you're watching this from. So yeah, few questions to answer from you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. It has caught the world by surprise, and so many people are talking about it. So let's continue this discussion before. Share this with everyone, because I'm curious to hear what more people around the world have to say. I've seen it in groups on Facebook. I've seen it in the comments from you guys from all over the world. Let's continue this discussion, because this, for me, is hugely important. Is there too much rugby in a year? And that I'll leave up to you guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you can keep up to date with all future sporting content. There's so much rugby content coming out this week. We have Super Rugby recap predictions. We have the European Champions Cup predictions and preview. And I have another idea of a video to do on a personal level. So make sure you have subscribed for that. And I'll see you guys real soon for another video. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.